was recently helping to facilitate an LGBTQ ally training, and in that training, towards the end of the training, a question was asked, and it kind of stopped all the facilitators cold because we wanted to make sure that we were answering the question with the intent that it was delivered, but it was also one of those questions that immediately got everybody a little bit defensive. And I'm sure if you hear this question, no matter which side of the fence you're on, everybody just kind of defenses up a little bit. That question was, we celebrate Pride Month, we celebrate African American History Month, we celebrate Asian American History Month. Why don't we celebrate White History Month? After we answered the question, I went back and I decided to do some research. I wanted to know how to better answer this question in the future because it's not the first time that I've heard it, and it's probably not going to be the last time that I've heard it. And the consensus that comes up through all of the research was that the reason why we don't celebrate Caucasian Awareness Month, White Month, however you want to put it, is because every month is a celebration of white history. And every day is a celebration of white history. Happy Monday. Welcome to this week's Weekly Wisdom. And I know it is a sensitive topic, but I'm hoping that you stick with me through to the end. Now, what I mean by the fact that every month is White History Month, if you walk down the hallways of any major corporation or government building, and you look at the founders and the successors, most of them, if not all of them, are going to be white men. And if it's not white men, then chances are it's maybe in the 80s, but probably in the last 10 or 15 years that it was either a woman or a person of color. History, and the way that we understand history, is written from the white perspective. This isn't right or wrong, it's just the way that it is. And if we want to do better moving forward in the future, then we have to know what better looks like. We have to understand that the history that we have is very one-sided. That's why we didn't know about things, most of us in the white community didn't know things about the Tulsa Massacre or the Stonewall riots. It wasn't a part of our history. Now, I grew up watching white heterosexual relationships. And there was nothing wrong with them. It was just that was what was on TV. And I remember watching Family Matters and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and seeing a different perspective. And I remember Family Matters very specifically one Friday night. I was young, I was early teens, and they were having a conversation about a police officer who had racially stereotyped one of the young black men that was on this TV show. And that was the first time that I realized that an interaction with a police officer is very different for me than it is for a person of color. Now, fast forward a couple of years later, I was in my late teens, maybe early 20s. And I remember when Ellen DeGeneres in her very first TV show came out as a lesbian. Even at that time, I knew watching this that I was watching history be made because there had been nothing like this on TV. There was nothing to represent the LGBTQ community before that. Now, we see it more often. We see truer representations of people of color and very diverse experiences. We see it in the movie theater. We see it on TV. We're starting to see the history and understand the different battles that each marginalized community has faced. But there's a reason why we don't have White History Month. Every month is White History Month. Every day is White History Day. So when you go forth and we have Pride Month, or we have African American Month, or we have any other month that is celebrating our diverse world, as a leader who leads diverse groups of people, understand or at least learn where your groups are coming from. Dive in and experience the joy of diversity and learning about a culture different than yours. It could be experiencing food. I remember the first time that I tasted, I don't know the official name, but the Filipino noodles, they're like glass noodles. That was life changing. Or hearing about different cultures around the holidays. Or hearing how people celebrate birthdays or mourn their loved ones. Open your mind and experience diversity for all of its beautiful, messy, amazing pieces. But also realize that we don't need a White History Month. We don't need a White History Day. We celebrate these other communities in their months because we're still learning and we're still figuring it out. Thank you for joining me for this week's Weekly Wisdom. I hope you had an amazing Pride Month. I can't wait to see you next week. And don't forget, you got this. Have a good one.